And that is not going to be fun.
There's the Lee Sin I was talking about.
I mean, I think Owner can pick whatever he feels like here. It'll be just fine.
Shaco would be fun.
Graves would be fun.
Graves actually really works out because they'd like a little bit more attack damage, but we'll just be the Lee Sin ultimately here. And, you know, the thing is, the draft in isolation for DRX is like a middling, you know, it's a game 2 fearless draft. You know, some champs were missing.
Stock standard AoE team fighting.
But the problem is that you're fighting against Aurora and Rumble, which is already a strong combo. You're playing into Caitlyn Elise with a Leona support, so you're going to have a bad time in most AD carries. So it was a really tough call. Like, what are they going to pick? And they decided to put LazyFeel, who's arguably had, unfortunately, the weakest laning phase of our AD carries in the LCK. His team fighting has been great. I'll give him that.
He's already, things were tough. Let's dive into the Rift for game 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2. T1, second time on red side. We're going to pick up another victory and close out a second win for Group Baron. They're up against Group Elder right now, who are sitting on 6 wins. It is looking like a little bit of a blowout. This might give them a little opportunity to come back in this one.
At level
cool
1,
skin for Owner there.
They're going to try to set up these wards. But guess what? Guma's like, you know, you picked Corki into Caitlyn. So I imagine you're probably intending to avoid that matchup. So he's going to automatically kind of default assume that they're going up here, and he's going to wait. They're like, maybe we'll find out. Well, you're up here now. You're priced in. The other thing is, in order to punish the Rumble, you know, to try to dive or make something happen with a Wukong, it's not really likely pre-6 that he's going to be able to make anything happen. And so I'm just not really feeling great about how this is going to start off, but let's see.
Power at that point in time. T1, I just feel like they spike so incredibly hard in the early game. All right, there's a flash cocoon, and that looks like first blood pretty comfortably. Valkyrie away here from LazyFeel as best he can, as Sponge, Warrior Tricksters to get himself over the wall.
All Owner has to do is be nearby, and they can make this play.
Yep.
And Sponge, it's so difficult to punish.
Caitlyn in the first game. And so T1, they're going to get started on these grubs. Do have Sponge making his way up. He might be able to steal one of them away. As you can see, Owner here still with the smite available. Let's get the Q onto Andal here. Level 4 for both him and KERIA. As level 6 available for Owner, not for Sponge. They're at such a disadvantage in this fight. That should be objective number 1 going on over to T1. As well as their feat of strength that they've already picked up with that first blood. Does mean that they are poised to really let this snowball roll.
Yeah, Owner's like, I'm not even going to smite that, I'm going to get this crab. You're not even going to get that! Sponge is going to try for it.
He is not going to be able to get it. Sponge gets over the wall, that was a bit cute. As Equalizer goes down, Rich, 0 mana available, but he's got some help. The only, okay, let's have a look at this. Just trying to clear out the wave as best he can is Rich. Fellow's Breath going to be necessary there, but the Cocoon going to land. A lot of burst damage. There's the headshot, and boom. That's it. KERIA's going to be able to pick it up in the end as Rich. You can see, oh, he's laughing about it, but not feeling too happy about the whole situation, you could imagine.
I mean, when you see an Ornn,
and we saw there the combination, right? You land the Cocoon, you put the trap down, and then Gumayushi gets headshot after headshot, and then can follow up with the ulti for the finish.
It's feats of strength also when they get that turret, which they will get, by the way.
Yep. Okay.
So this is the second time, because you can see his ult's still on cooldown.
Yeah.
And he just
dies. And that's just another repel. And
I don't want to see in the bottom lane at least, okay? We can start with that.
Yeah, we can start with that. As Owner's going to get flashed on here, Solar Flare comes down. That is a very deadly Sin. They'll take their first kill of the game. As now Doran possibly in trouble as Rich coming in. The trap, where was that going? That's off the tracks entirely. As Rich does get the knock-up to prove that something's going to land, but there's no one else here now. Faker not really finding very much damage with the ulti. As LazyFeel, oh dear. There's the last auto in the air from KERIA. And that is going to finish it off once again.
And DRX get 1 grub.
Yep, that's going to deny the feats of strength that don't matter anymore.
Yeah. This is not indicative of who LazyFeel is as a player, by the way. It's indicative of who Guma and KERIA are as players and what this draft does. So I feel like a lot of people might judge LazyFeel heavily for this. Now, he has had some tough laning phases. I had forgotten, actually, I deleted it from my brain, that he also did play Corki bottom lane. Lost that game as well, so that's part of the problem, too. Like, I'm just trying to give this guy credit because he is an incredible player so early on in his career. He's 17 years old, just eligible to be a sub for Teddy in the first place, and is under a ton of pressure. He's playing against the defending world champions here. And look, they gave him Corki, but this is not about...
powerful, right? Like, this is before they just started winning every world. It's like, this
when
was
Guma
2022.
They win everything. And they win this...
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
Ace in the hole.
And like, this is why KERIA was playing Ice a lot, because you're super squishy, the enemy team has ways to catch you, but when you have full vision control and full map control and a massive lead like this, you know, KERIA just walks around the map and decides who dies. And that's what's happening. He's 100% KP, he and Guma. Yep, the kill squad, man, just push him around the map. Long team fight. So slowing this game down somehow, slowing these fights down somehow, letting Rich, you know, tank that damage is the only way you could hope to win a fight in an even game state, which we're not in. But I mean, this is just going to be T1 getting everything they want. This turret is next on the list.
Yep. Yukao going to tank the ace in the hole. Not too happy about that one either. It's starting to do a lot of damage. Gumayushi is just a recipe completion away from it. The problem is that they've got a team fight that does really, really well against a low range composition. And T1 are so good at just picking off a target from a million miles away.
Yeah.
And making it so that like these honest 5v5s just won't exist.
And I mean, look at the zoning they can do with these traps as well. Caitlyn is known to shoot far.
Yeah, she does do that.
In terms of range. And they just grab this Herald for free, and now they're like, well, I guess we push Inner with it? Take it away from him, and he doesn't get to play it, because remember, they first picked this over the Aurora.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the Rumble.
There's no explaining it that makes sense to me. Personally, as Faker could be in trouble here. As the train comes down, this time it's going to land. Nice little chain CC there from Rich, but he's well and truly by himself. And he's going to have to try and flash away. The flash forward from Owner, and he kicks him in the back of the head. That's going to send him to the death chamber as Sponge. Warrior tricks to get himself out of the way, and Gumayushi doing the thing he loves to do best, which is shoot turrets. Unless he can shoot the little yodel in a plane. It's another thing that he really enjoys doing.
Yeah, he likes to get money and then use it to buy items and then kill people with it. But also killing turrets, like you said, he is a big enjoyer of that. Faker may be in trouble really for real this time, maybe?
Yeah. He's not going to be able to make that flash work, as Owner is like, yeah, you're on your own, buddy.
Owner's like, nah, sorry, man, that's all I can do. Just to check, you know, behind them there, that brush in this case. Small victory.
That's the support, by the way, versus the jungler. KERIA just half-healthing him with his Storm Surge.
I thought the Ornn was the support in this game for DRX.
Yeah.
Or wait, maybe it's the Wukong, or maybe it's the...
It could honestly be any of them at this stage.
Yeah. This is a rough one, man. This is our first, like, real stomp, like...
Oh! Doran's dead! There we go. Yukao collects the second.
That's three. 3 of these picks they've gotten where T1 just caught with their pants down a little bit. I mean, these are the kind of plays that... And it's on the bottom side of the map where T1 are now grouping. That's why they were set up just moments ago before KERIA nearly got picked. He doesn't have flash. As, yeah, this is just gonna...
That's a long walk for Shelly.
They're timing it out, you know, just for when everyone shows up on DRX to have to deal with it. You know, it's totally intentional, 100% calculated play here. Yep.
LazyFeel is going to probably get there before she does have the opportunity to get too much charging happening.
But that may be when T1 pull the trigger on Otacon if they would like to.
Yeah, that's going to do nothing at all. Still, Otacon, like you were saying, is up and available and doing his best to scout the area, but look at the vision control here for T1.
Yeah, they just can't see anything, and T1 can see everything.
If T1 do start Otacon, right, and DRX manage to find a window in, which has happened right now, the window in yet, that hasn't happened.
Look at the traps, like, how do you get in here? You can't even show up! You can't even show up to the fight, basically, as DRX. Like, how do you even get there?
I think T1 want to back away. Yeah, I don't think risking it is a good idea.
I mean, there's just no reason to.
Yep.
It's the one way they could lose the game. And they had such a good setup anyways.
Oh, dear. Okay, Doran taking a lot of damage. Owner not able to get on him.
Quiet.
Yeah. I feel like this is the type of series where you kind of okay.
Maybe it's not KERIA.
KERIA is going to die, but Lazyfield is in a lot of trouble. Still gets himself to relative safety. Gumayushi now in trouble. Yukao comes over. Oh, DRX, have you found an angle to get back in? Ona says no. The equalizer, not exactly the highest of value, but Yukao's the president. They have to keep that guy alive. He is all of the damage here for DRX. The Sponge diving towards FAKER, trying to make me into a liar here as he is able to slam down with damage himself. Doran wanting to find an opportunity, but Yukao, too smart, able to walk out of the way of the Rumble. So,
the question though is, like, can they actually get anything out of this? You know, Owner took so much damage. They don't have enough control. T1 are back on the Dragon first, as you can see in live. I don't want to break this replay down too much because we are having some action in live.
Yeah, you can see Rich going to flash towards the wall and not over it. FAKER is going to be gifted the kill, I believe. There it is. Zona once again in control of this one. We're still waiting for the Wukong to turn up as he gets into the pit. Can they deny the solar kick? Says absolutely not. Yeah, I think POM going over to Ona sounds pretty good to me, as Andal is dead. And the brief bit of DRX cool stuff.
It just wasn't, like, it was a fight, that last fight where you're like, wow, they actually did anything, so it means everything, right? Because DRX maybe could, but then you look at the game state and you're like, well, they just still can't do Dragon Axe.
Yeah, and Infernal Soul and stuff, and now Artican as well is going to be coming up here. We'll have to see how many of the turrets they're going to be able to take, utilizing that team-wide GA that they'll have available. Unless it's just Baron, they could just take Baron.
Low risk with a Voracious buff. They all got wings.
As KERIA is just playing Bodyguard. And it looks like, yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot of options. Control ward in there, the trap wall set up so that T1 cannot be stopped. And yeah, they'll get the information. That's really cool. Still, the Baron is going to go down. There's nothing that they can do about it.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm at a loss for this one, Atlas.
Yeah, I am.
Even if he dies, by the way, it's fine.
It doesn't really matter. Equalizer goes down. Yukao is the target. They've decided to kill him, and thus he will die. Andal gonna go down there as well. And yep, KERIA gets to buy some items. Shirelia's going to be put together here as he gets that free trip back home. And with Yukao dead, you can see slumped back in his chair, understands that this game was well and truly on his back. And Sponge, there's an interesting little situation here as T1, they understand that it's going to be really hard to stop them from just taking what they want because they can't even die. As Ona goes in, goes back out, that is going to be inhibitor number 1 going down. Mid lane can fall swiftly afterwards. There's an inner turret still up on the bottom side, so 3 inhibs probably not going to happen here, but a dead Nexus, that's certainly on the cards. There are still minions conga lining their way in. 1 Nexus turret remains. As Andal, that Eclipse Shield not going to be enough. The train sails by without causing too much harm to anyone. And Yukao, I think, just going to park himself on the fountain because there's nothing he can do to stop the onslaught of T1. A 2-0. And Baron doubles the amount of kills their group has been able to pick up because the world champs have been able to get there here in their second time of asking.
Very, very straightforward.